What up, party people? Welcome back to another episode of Controversial Album Covers. This is episode number 24. All right, let's get it over with. Nirvana's Nevermind, September 24th, 1991 is the day that it was released, and it was their second album. Supposedly, Kurt Cobain came up with the idea for the cover when he was watching a documentary on natural childbirth or underwater childbirth. And so he took it to Geffen, and they sat down and started looking at pictures, stock photos and stuff, and realized pretty quickly that most of those were going to be a little too graphic for a record cover, because I don't know if you've ever seen a natural childbirth, but it is pretty gory. It's not just a baby that comes out, it's a whole lot of other stuff. Bodily fluids, blood, all sorts of fun stuff. If you love horror movies, go watch a natural childbirth, you might change your mind. Babies do not come out clean, and they do not stay clean. They are dirty, dirty, dirty little filthy things. So they decided that they would just go ahead and use a stock photo of a baby underwater, and they found one, but that company wanted $7,500. So they said, I think we could probably do it ourselves. So the art director for Geffen was Robert Fisher. He sent out one of their photographers, Kurt Weddle, to a public pool and just started kind of asking around, and then he finally just kind of called up his friend, Rick Eldon, and said, hey, would you like to make some money and maybe throw your baby in a pool? And he said, sure, let's do it. So they brought their baby over, who was, I think, 4 months old at the time, and threw him in the pool, took about 15 shots, and ended up with this, and afterwards they went out for tacos. The parents were paid $200 for the photo shoot and lunch or dinner, whatever it was, and that was both substantiated by the father and the son. I'm not going to say the baby's name because he gets too much press and he doesn't deserve it, and we'll get to that in a minute. But both of them substantiated. That's important later on. But again, we'll get to that in just a second. Now, Geffen was a little concerned with the baby penis on the front, and they said that might cause some problems, and they wanted to kind of censor it or put a sticker over it or something. And Kurt Cobain basically said, look, the only sticker I will acquiesce to is a sticker that says, if you're offended by this, you must be a closet pedophile. Now, obviously, Geffen wasn't about to do that, so they let it fly as it went, and there it is. It was never edited, never changed. It is what it is. There was some issues with it. People were complaining about it, blah, 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 and Kurt stood by his words. If you're offended by this, you must be a closet pedophile. Now, the baby, whose name shall not be mentioned, because I have fear if you mention his name 3 times, he's like Candyman, and he shows up at your house naked with a lawsuit. In August of 2021, filed his first of several lawsuits against Kurt Cobain estate, Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl, and Geffen, for a whole myriad of reasons, and they went back and forth over tons of things. Some of it was over child pornography, and remember when I said they were paid $200? He at one point said that nobody was paid and he wasn't paid, so he should get paid, and blah, blah, blah. And then it was child pornography, and that he didn't have consent, and just went on and on and on, and this drug out for several years. Now, meanwhile, remember, this is August of 2021. This is 30 years after this was released, and Homeboy's got tattoos all over his body of Nirvana, of this album, Nirvana. Every time that this had an anniversary, whether it was a 5-year or 2.5 year or 20 year or 12 year or 13 years and 2 months, he was there and he was pimping himself out. But for whatever reason, he felt that he didn't get enough paid, so he was trying to sue them and get more money. This is this is what a frivolous lawsuit to me means. The McDonald's coffee is not a frivolous lawsuit. If you don't know anything about that, you really should check that out, because that's a very interesting case, and it's not what you think it is, and it's mostly because the media manipulated you. And I'm not one of those media manipulator guys, but go read that story. You'll be crazy. It's just crazy. So, finally, in 2023, the judge threw out the case and said, you know what, I don't want to hear about this anymore, and blocked any further lawsuits. Now, of course, you know that Homeboy here is going to appeal that, and he'll probably sue him again, and it'll get shot down. But there it is. But a year later, Weird Al Yankovic released this bad boy off the deep end, and he said about this cover, he said, I never anticipated ever going full frontal nudity on any of my album covers. And there it is. Come on, you knew I was going to throw Weird Al in here as much as possible. I'm surprised that I've made it 24 episodes without feeding him in here. But there's the original Nirvana. There's the Weird Al. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later.